I think one thing is because like again, like what you said, there's a lot of information out there, right? So the fact is that you put any one of those workout programs on the internet, it's gonna work.
Yes, exactly.
It's gonna work,
That's my
right?
point. Yes, it's gonna work.
To a certain extent, you're gonna get some result out of it, right? It's just that the question that we have in our mind most of the time is that, so what about the last 5%? Is it gonna push the last 5%, right? But the thing is that having a coach is not just about the training program, because if you look at it from a holistic point of view, then there's that whole dieting thing, right? Where, okay, you may know how to plan a macro, right? But the thing is, not everyone has the luxury of eating 5 meals a day because work, life,
Yep.
that kind of thing. So
Yes.
I think an experienced coach is where they'll be able to adapt, plan around that life and still get you to where you need to be.
And somewhat customize things for you so that it actually works for you eventually, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So help you navigate throughout the whole thing. Yes, not using a templated prefixed thing. Yes, not a cookie cutter.
Yeah, it's not a cookie cutter.
Yeah. Nice.
So what are the sacrifices you made to stay committed in your prep?
Okay, wow. That's a very big question.
Well, yeah, it is a big question, but you see, put it like this. I myself, I used to compete, Anand compete. And the reason why Dream Aesthetic Podcast is doing this platform, this podcast, is because we want to find out, you cannot see yourself as just I'm just another person. No. Every individual, has an untold story. Every individual had a journey, a journey, right? And that journey is what needs to be, put out there.
Yes.
People need to hear. So I think what challenges, what obstacles you had to come across, people out there may not be going through the same obstacles, same challenges for you, but they will resonate because everyone has their own obstacle.
Yeah.
Right. What we were trying to find out is how did you overcome it? That's the value, yes.
Okay. I think the first, there were certainly a few things that I had to sacrifice. The first thing that comes to mind is really the finance. First of all, bodybuilding is not a cheap sport, right? Or rather affordable sport because, I mean, let's say if you didn't get a coach, then you can save on the expense. Provided you really know what you're doing. For my case, I didn't thought I could. And in hindsight, I still don't think I could. So I think it was the right choice. So getting a coach is one, right? Eating is even more expensive, right? The proteins that you have to eat. I don't love chicken breast, but I have to eat it. I have to eat a lot, right? So there was one of those times I ordered $250 of chicken breast.
$250 chicken breast.
2 cartons, right? I drove down, I collected 2 cartons of chicken breast. And before I knew it, in 1.5 months, it was gone. Before I knew it, and down to the last pack, I have to order again. And that's 250 gone, right? And that's just chicken breast, right? On top of the other things that we have to eat, like your broccolis, your fibers, your protein powder, So all that adds up, right? So finance is a very big part of bodybuilding. So I think I really had to put the money where it is. So I actually gave up some hobby of mine. I had to give up music, so I sold my guitar for it to finance this competition.
To support your bodybuilding pursuit.
Yeah.
You had to sell off your guitar. And how much?
I had a Holy Grail guitar that I wanted all my life, and I finally bought it. It's at $5,000.
You bought it for $5,000.
Yes.
You bought it for $5,000 guitar.
So I had to sell it to finance this competition. That was one of the sacrifices.
That's the sacrifice that you have to go through. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not easy, right?
It's not easy.
It's something that you have, probably been saving up, something that you've been wanting to buy.
Yeah.
Right? All your life. And then you bought it, and then you got it. And then when you got into this bodybuilding journey or competition journey, turns out the competition becomes more important at that point of time.
Yeah.
That you had to make sacrifices.
Yes. Yeah. So I guess this is just one of it, right? In terms of finance.
Yeah.
The toll that comes with bodybuilding definitely, with the relationships, right? The emotions, especially during dieting for me, during cutting, I can get very temperamental. So this prep was very eventful. I guess eventful is a nice word because so while prepping for the whole com of 2024, I broke up twice. Yeah.
Broke up twice. That's also the challenges or like the difficulties that you have to go through. Yes.
Yeah.
Are you all back together?
No.
So sorry to hear that. Yeah. Okay.
But how did you overcome that difficult situation or that difficult moment?
I think on the day I asked myself, what do I really want? Do I want this more? And it's not just because I have poured a lot of money in, right? But it's also, what do I want for myself? Again, it comes back to what do I want for myself now that I'm turning 30. I turned 30. Do I want to be very different? Do I want to achieve much more than what I've done? So I look at it that way and in a very long-term way. So I think, I think this is where I want to go. This is what I want to achieve. So I move on from that. I think along with that is also finding my tribe in a sense where I think there wasn't necessarily people who were very supportive per se. And somehow I think along that journey, there were people who came along who supported and ran with me for the journey. So I think it was great.
You want to name that person and thank that person in this podcast?
Like giving them a shout out.
Oh yes. So the first thing that came to mind is one of my best friends. So she's named Aisha. So one of those things was because she's a boxer, so she was going for her boxing competition as well. So we were both working towards our own competition. So coincidentally, we had to do a lot of cardio. So we were both like running every other day.
So keeping each other accountable towards your each individual goals.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so it's pretty funny. I think there was one of those times she was like, do you think you actually deserve a Coke Zero?
She asked you that?
Yeah.
And then, then how did you
So I was like, okay, fine,
question?
I'll just have a mineral water.
So for to some extent, she also held you accountable, right?
Yeah,
Like by asking such question. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice,
so it was great. I think along the way there were people that came along that somehow just belongs to the tribe.
Right. Now that you look back at the journey, like you appreciated that, like someone actually like helped you or held you accountable at that very moment.
Oh, definitely.
Nice. Cool. So shout out to Aisha from Ben.
Yeah.
For keeping Ben accountable for his competition. Right. And it may be something that is, like just it's a normal thing for some people, but at that point of time, it actually was something that you really needed.
Yeah.
Right? You just needed to hear it from someone, and like she was the person, and she helped you with it, and you actually went along with it, went with it, and actually
that's amazing.
Cool. Yeah, I think so these are the little things that, or the little story, the untold story that we're trying to extract out, and put it out there for people to resonate and for people to use it as a form of inspiration. Yeah, because you never know, your story can inspire people out there who are struggling with whatever they are going through, whether it's in bodybuilding or in life in general. Yeah.
How do you keep your mindset strong when a tough time comes? Face a tough time.
I think really eyes on the prize. That's what my coach told me.
Eyes on the prize. Stay focused.
Yeah, stay focused. I think there were a lot of times where I text my coach, like, I cannot do this anymore. I don't want to do any more cardio. I don't want to eat any more chicken breast, that kind of thing. And it's always the same. Eyes on the prize. You're going to make a name for yourself. Yeah.
Also, bodybuilding is a very emotional sport, actually. And also so many, you have a breakup and stuff. In those kind of situation, how do you actually control your emotions?
Or when you're going through all those difficult emotional moments, right? How do you manage your emotions and
because
your
you
issues?
Still need to go for your daily jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Being a
clients.
accountant, right? Yes.
So how do you actually how do you actually control your emotions?
I think I'm very blessed to have very supportive friends and actually colleagues as well. So my colleagues actually knew that I was going for this competition, so they were very supportive. So in terms of work-wise, I guess they tried not to bother me with any small problem. So I think that was very helpful. But yeah, I think having a great support system is very important towards bodybuilding in terms of emotionally. People that you can talk to, right? When you're having wild thoughts, that kind of thing. But I'm also gonna say that it's not that it's perfect for me, because I think one of the way I cook, which very unhealthily, is I really smoke a lot.
Okay.
Like I smoke way more than I need to, especially during the last 12 weeks. Yeah.
Okay, because you were going through the difficult times preparing for the competition.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think, like, in a sense, what I can actually get out of this conversation is it's actually pretty obvious, and it's very well known, for as a matter of fact, that going for a competition is not an easy task.
No, it's not.
Right? It's not something that any Tom, Dick, and Harry can do.
Yeah.
Right? So I think, like, for people out there who thinks that bodybuilding is and some people think it's weird. It's like, they kind of like judge you and they think, why is this guy doing what he's doing, and things like, they don't understand. And then they start judging, and they just cannot relate, and they think it's just another thing in life, which is not, right?
It's not.
A lot of sacrifices needs to be done. A lot of like a support system. People need to understand you, like you said. For you are blessed having colleagues that understand what you're going through, or at least supported you in